Devops Shorts, Devops Shorts, the show to listen to when your DevOps hurts. And even when you're going strong, it's short and sweet, so come along. Hello, folks, and welcome to another episode of Devops Shorts, the show where we invite wonderful human beings to have a lightning-fast conversation about devs, ops, and other mythical creatures. And my guest today is none other but Viktor Farcic, the author of the DevOps Toolkit series, the author of the DevOps Paradox book, and the host of the DevOps Paradox podcast. And today also developer advocate at Codefresh. Hello, Viktor. Very good to have you here tonight.
Hey, it's great to be here.
How are you?
I'm always fantastic. It's immutable, never changes.
Wonderful. Okay. And without further ado, we'll jump straight into our first question. And this is a question about love. So I have this assumption that everybody who comes to my show loves what they do. So today I'm asking you, why, Viktor, do you love information technology? You work with IT for a long time. What do you love about it?
There are two stories, I think, why I fell in love with it and why am I still in the same space. The answer to the first question is because I'm very old. When I was young, technology was for nerds, for people who are not very sociable, right? For people who don't go to parties and what's not, who stay at home. And that's at one moment I discovered computer and kind of, hey, I have a friend after all. So I started writing code, I started playing games, I started doing a lot of things. And that lasted for quite a few years. So let's say that I fell in love as a lack of social skills, let's say. Now, why am I in love with it still? And this is similar to real life, right? You might fall in love for one reason and then stay in love for another. And today I'm still in this space after a break because I think it's amazing. To begin with, I think that on average, people and companies, software companies and people in it are very advanced, very liberal, very, people who are moving the world. And I don't mean now only through the products, but uh, the working environments, how genders are treated, and so on and so forth. I think that tends to be slightly better in this industry than in many others. Um, and then there is that aspect of being able to work remote, and being able to work both in a team and alone, depending on what you want or how you feel at any given moment. So I think that level of freedom while still being paid decent amount of money is probably higher in this industry than most others. You usually either, and there is one more important thing that I feel, and that is that software engineers might be very lucky because they're people who do things they like and get paid for it at the same time. Usually people are either working for money or they are working for their passions and then don't earn much money, right? Uh, we are a rare breed, I think, in that we married those two things. And that's a reason good enough to fall in love with.
Definitely, I agree. So you mentioned there was a break between your early love for IT and then you went.
Yes, I at one moment I got sick of computers and decided to do something else, and that something else ended up being archaeology.
Hmm, interesting.
So I spent the year, like I don't know, maybe 5 years studying archaeology, and probably half of that time being in remote parts of the country or the world on excavations. But then they realized that there's a lot of data floating around in archaeology, and that somebody might be required to figure out what to do with that data, and
To write some code.
that fell into my lap exactly. And it's like mafia. I tried to get out, they pulled me back in.
Yeah, yeah. Once you start writing code, you can get away from it. Yeah, and I know how it is.
Exactly.
Okay, wonderful. So we still have something like 20 seconds from this question, more time for the fun questions in the end. And straight away, we'll go to the next question. And that question is about DevOps. You know, this is a DevOps show after all. So, in the DevOps handbook, the authors talk about their DevOps aha moment, that moment when they realize that the way that things work in IT sucks, but there is a better way, and that way is DevOps, of course. What was that moment for you?
I think it was a series of moments, and all of them being initiated by frustration. And I believe that that was happening long before anybody actually coined the term DevOps. So let me explain. I get very easily frustrated. And like almost everybody else, like 15 years ago or something like that, or 20, almost every company at that time was siloed company. You had developer silo, and then testing, and then operations, and so on and so forth. And at that time, the world was based on I do my part, and then I give it to somebody else, and then I wait indefinitely until that somebody else does something, and then I can continue doing my work. So one of the main reasons why I changed a lot what I do is because of that frustration. Like I was initially a pure developer, and then conflicts with testing departments, and then now, okay, I'm going to start testing myself. Uh, the hell with them, right? And then, oh, and we need to wait 3 months until I get servers. I started ordering servers myself. And then, hey, to deploy something, you need to wait for 3 weeks. I started deploying myself. And when I say myself, there was always a group of people who felt the same, right? So it's not really only me, but I think that assuming that we define DevOps as uh, joining together development and operations into one cohesive group that works together, then I think that I was doing that a long time ago. Not only me, many other people, right? But those aha moments where, hey, aha, I don't need testers. I don't need to wait for testing, right? Aha, I don't need to wait for for deployment. And I think that those were my aha moments. I don't have to comply to the rigid structure of having isolated departments doing a fraction of the life cycle of an application or a system.
So basically, DevOps brought on by impatience.
Yes, almost all advancements are, I believe, done like that by impatience or frustration, right? Somebody is frustrated with, like, Koski Kawaguchi, the guy that long time ago invented Jenkins, right? It was also frustration. Hey, I'm a release manager or whatever it was called at that time. I'm frustrated with my job. Let me build something that will do it for me, right? It's frustration. It's always we're trying to we make things better when we find a problem that can be solved in a better way. And this is now going back to your first question. That is also one of the things I like. Engineers, software engineers, or at least good ones, they're motivated by that possibility to solve problems rather than comply with existing solutions.
Yeah, sounds great. Wonderful. Okay, and you're again on time. We still have 30 seconds from that question. In the end, you'll hear the gong, I promise. And we'll go straight to our third question, which is my favorite. I like to define myself as a software delivery futurist, whatever that might mean. And the question is concerned with the future. So, this is your chance to tell us what you think the future is going to bring to DevOps, to our industry as a whole. Maybe there will be no DevOps anymore, and to humankind in its entirety. So go wild. Anything that comes into your head when you look into the future, we want to hear
I have no idea.
it. Yeah, sure.
No,
Nobody does, but
exactly.
I'm sure you have fantasies. Those that
Of
we
course,
are.
it must go in the direction of artificial intelligence. Uh, that must be the next big step, right? All the other things, that those are small evolutionary steps, but that must be the thing. Now, I honestly don't know whether that will happen few years from now or few decades from now. I cannot go that far to predict, but it must be. And between now and that happening, there will be quite a few different steps. And what characterizes all those steps that are coming, just as all those that passed behind before, is that whatever is things are becoming trivial, at least within engineering, and people who stick with doing the trivial things are becoming obsolete, meaning that almost everything that we are doing today will become soon obsolete because it will be replaced by better solutions. Just like in the past, if your job was to manage VMs, you're out of job now, because they're self-managed or there are services and so on and so forth. Or if your job was in the past to create websites, hey, take WordPress. Nobody creates websites anymore. We do more complex things. So it will become much more complex, and everything that we are doing today will become kind of so trivial that it will be that our jobs to, as we define it today, will become more or less obsolete. And machine learning, artificial intelligence, and all those things are going in that direction, trying to, today it's very early, but the direction is pretty clear, trying to replace trivial jobs we are doing today. Right now, whether that those trivial jobs will become something less trivial in the future, that's yet to be seen. But so things like I'm very excited about the possibility of having a machine doing my code reviews. Why not? About machines writing. That's for example, one of the things that I believe in 2021 will become huge, and the first real implementation within software engineering of machine learning will be testing. There are so many trivial things we are doing today. Click every button and check whether it works. Uh, that that's so trivial. That's on the edge of being so trivial that it will be. If I would have a lot of money to start placing, investing, I would definitely invest in machine learning applied to testing, for example.
Okay, okay. I think Koske is looking into that direction. If you already mentioned
Yes,
the
yes.
launchable or whatever
To be
his
honest, I
companies.
forgot about that, but yes, yes, that's not the reason why that came to me. But yes, he's investing in that direction exactly.
Right. Okay. So trivial jobs will be gone, but again, as we see, the trend is trivial jobs are replaced, but then there's a whole new plethora of non-trivial jobs that we now need. So there's
Now,
always a larger shortage of IT jobs, of
as
IT
long
professionals. No shortage of jobs.
as we each of us individually keeps following the advancements, our jobs are secured for life.
Right.
Now, if you don't do that, let's say that if you're a person that has 25 years of experience with DB2, then I wouldn't place bets that the jobs are secured for that.
And here's the gong.
But as long
Okay,
as somebody's following at least somehow.
we've hit the gong on this one. Wonderful. And we still have a little more time. So here's the blitz. Okay, short questions, short answers. So do you believe in cryptocurrency?
No,
Okay, what's the most exciting tech outside of information technology?
self-driving cars.
Self-driving cars. Wonderful. Are you afraid of artificial intelligence? Actually, you've already answered this one, but are you a little bit afraid?
No, I'm not even sure that I'm not a human.
Okay, wonderful. So, okay, and we're out of time. The gong will sound in just 1 second. So, enough for today. Here's the gong. Wonderful, Victor. Thanks a lot. It was fun having you. Thank you.
This is amazing. This is like speed dating. I love it.
Short and sweet. Thank you for listening and watch out for new episodes of DevOps Shorts.